We're out exploring in the foothills of the Coast Range in Northwest Oregon.
And we decided to stop and answer a few more questions. The question we get asked quite a lot is whether or not we have a washer and dryer in our RV. And this is something that we really gave a lot of thought to before we bought the RV, because I was of the opinion that absolutely, definitely we had to have a washer and dryer because we always had one in the house and it's convenient and you just do your laundry whenever you want. But after doing a lot of research...
Yeah. Well, I actually felt like it was going to be really, like, I wouldn't be comfortable going into laundromats in different places. I just didn't feel like I'd feel very comfortable in there, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a mistrust about them or something. I don't know. I guess just because we've been always doing our laundry at home. But after doing all the reviews and considering the space that we could save by not putting the washer and dryer in there, we opted to not get one and to use laundromats.
Yeah, and we found that the washer and dryers really aren't that efficient in the fact that, you know, if you have a combo one, it has to wash and dry. So you're using that for a long period of time for just one load of laundry. So we thought, you know, we're going to be running laundry for, 2 days a week just to try to get 2 or 3 loads of laundry done. Whereas if we just go to the laundromat, we put it all in at once, 2 hours, we're done, we're out of there, and laundry's good to go.
Yeah, and we also use the Wi-Fi there and stuff, so it goes pretty well. And there's been some very nice laundromats, laundry facilities at the different RV parks that we've been to. We found some really nice ones, and we can do it all at once. And then some of the towns that we went to had really quaint little laundromats.
Yeah,
we enjoyed it.
It's kind of been part of the adventure, just checking out the new laundry facilities. So yeah, we're glad that we decided to not go with the washer and dryer. Now we have that space and we get our laundry done quickly.
We've been asked if we get snakes, spiders, or scorpions in our rig. Well, we definitely get spiders. They can come in on our clothes, come in on Barkley, any other way that they find in, they get in there. And we've had that everywhere we've ever lived. Yep. We've had spiders inside, so that's just inevitable. Fortunately, we haven't had any poisonous spiders inside, and we quickly escort out any spider that we do have inside out of the rig. We tend to find them in the shower quite frequently, for whatever reason, and politely escort them out the door. Yeah, funny little stories. The other day I was taking a shower and I just happened to have a wasp in there with me, and I'm spraying the water all over because I had the shower wand in my hand, and I was kind of spraying, trying to get him to get wet so he'd stay off of me, and he ended up landing down there, and that, right where you don't want. Yeah, and Susan heard me screaming like a little girl, came running in there and helped me out. But anyway, that was a close call. Yeah. Let's see, snakes and scorpions. We have actually seen a lot of scorpions all over the place at places that we have camped, particularly in the Southwest, and we've shined UV light around at night, and we're able to see a lot of them glowing in different locations. And we had a little bit of an encounter with a rattlesnake one time, but not in the rig. We haven't had the scorpions in the rig either, as far as we know, but they've been all around it. Yeah, and Barkley's had 2 close calls with them just outside of the rig, so that almost was kind of scary. One time, and Susan just pulled up the leash and lifted him up right when his foot was going down on the back of a scorpion, so that was very close call, but none inside the rig other than the spiders. Yeah, so we just watch out for them. If you're going into new areas, there might be new critters to keep on the lookout for. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out. You're pulling into rest areas and things like that, there usually will be signs up telling you, alerting you that there's snakes and scorpions in the area. We've seen quite a few of those. So, but anyway, just be on the lookout, and fortunately for us, it hasn't been a problem. Another question we've been asked is about campground memberships and discount programs, and there are an awful lot of them out there. At this time, we've kind of just settled on 2. We have Good Sam and Passport America. Yeah, we've been made aware of a lot of different types of memberships over the years, and One being the 1,000 Trails. We don't have anything negative to say about it. It just wasn't in our travel plans, and they didn't have parks necessarily where we wanted to go at the time. And so we're just kind of wanting to go where we want to go and not just where there's certain parks. So that may be different for each individual. But for us, it didn't work out with that particular one at the time, and maybe sometime in the future it will. So there's a lot of good ones out there. I'm actually not even aware of any bad ones.
Yeah.
We're not into it that much, so we just kind of go where we want to go. But the Passport America thing has worked out really well for us, because it just seems that some of the places we want to go ends up having a park there, and we can save 50% off of the site rental. And I think the first time we did it, it actually saved us. They essentially paid us to become members by staying for a week.
I mean, we would have saved $75 by having the Passport America. So even after paying the $40 for the yearly fee, we saved an additional $35, and that was just on the first visit. So it was kind of a no-brainer to get it. Even if we had never used it again, we still saved on that visit. But fortunately, we've been able to find parks in other areas that we've traveled that have given significant discounts with that particular membership.
Yeah, and I'll put a link in the description to a special link for Passport America. And at the time of this video, they're giving a few months away free to both sides, both us and you, if you use that link. So it kind of helps us all. But depending on when you're viewing this video, that could change. But anyway, the link will be there that will go to whatever special is available at the time. Another thing is that you mentioned was the Good Sam.
Yeah, and that Good Sam is accepted at almost every park that we've been to, and that'll just save you 10%, but at least that covers the tax in most cases, and maybe a little more. So and that's not very expensive either. In fact, we paid for 1 year and they sent us the second year for free. They said just go ahead and add on another year for free. So that was a good deal as well.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily stack discounts when you go places. So the Good Sam, we would essentially use that when there was nothing else available, like nothing, I guess, more substantial. And other things you can do is maybe even use, if you're a veteran, some places give veteran discounts or AAA and other things. So just kind of ask them what type of discounts that they have available. I usually do this after they give me the price. So, but anyway, the memberships are really good to have, and you just got to feel it out and find out what works for you, where you want to go.
Yep.
We've been asked several times if we have any difficulty getting our large rig into national parks. We have a 40-foot fifth wheel, and I'm gonna say no, we don't, because typically we don't want to take our RV into the national parks. Yeah,
if we're going to be staying in an area and for a period of time to visit a national park, we found that the national parks don't often have the hookups or amenities that we might want for a longer stay.
Yeah, like even Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, sometimes no sewer, sometimes even no hookups at all. So the national park, staying actually in the park, is not a place that we would choose to go anyway.
And it's not that we always want full hookups and things like that, but a lot of times we're just kind of positioning ourselves to go to different areas. For example, when we went to the Grand Canyon and to Arizona and to Sedona and maybe another place, all those videos are we've done videos in all those places. We've actually stayed in Flagstaff at that time, and so we just kind of centrally locate ourselves and then just kind of satellite out from there to different places, and we find that we do a lot better that way. It's just we just kind of strategically locate ourselves. So that's not going to be the case all the time, but it definitely has worked a lot for us in our favor that way.
Yeah, and the national parks, of course, especially in the summertime, are always going to be crowded, and you're going to have reservations very far in advance, whereas if you just stay a few miles out, you may not have to make those plans quite as far in advance, because they'll still have some openings.
Yeah, so it works out really well for us this way.
A few people have asked if we have trouble with our large RV maneuvering in things like fuel stations and making turns and things like that. And Bernie's going to have to answer that since he does the driving.
Well, I guess it is difficult in the sense that you certainly have to pay attention to what you're doing and be careful. But we've never had any real close calls other than one when we got advice to drive into an adjacent parking lot in it was very dark, very hard to see, poor visibility because it was pouring down rain. And somebody said, yeah, go on forward and go into the adjacent lot there. You can turn around out there. So I got out in the rain and walked over and found out that it was a few feet drop off
it was at least an 18-inch drop that would have just completely destroyed us.
It would have been a nightmare. So other than that, wide turns, I'm always just kind of looking every out the window and the mirrors, whatever I can do to see where that back end is swinging. That usually isn't that big of a deal. Again, we're 40 foot long, but that's just because we know how long we are, and we take our time going around corners, and we're careful. And as far as fuel stations, usually Susan will bring up satellite imagery and do some research on a place, even if it's a truck stop, before we even get there, to kind of check out what type of maneuverability we'll have there, how big it is, any kind of obstacles that we might have to look out for. But generally, if an 18-wheeler gets in, we feel pretty confident that we can get in, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately, what the satellite imagery doesn't tell you is how busy that station might be at the particular time you're there. So it might look great on the satellite, and then you get there and it's particularly busy, and it's a little more difficult to maneuver into. But
yeah, we typically don't zoom right into where all of the cars and things like that are, even if it looks like the overheads got enough clearance. I generally try to use the where the trucks fuel up. There's truck lanes. Some of them will even say RV fuel lanes. So I'll typically drive through those, and I've always had enough space to get through. So that, I guess, we haven't really had that much problems. As long as you're careful and you take things slow and you do your homework, everything should go as planned, hopefully.
Yeah, and Bernie's done an amazing job.
Well, thank you.
Great driver.
Well, that was a few answers to some of the questions we've been getting. We can't get to them all today, but if you have a question that you'd like us to answer, feel free to leave it in the comments area to this video, and we'll try to get it in an upcoming question and answer video session.
And don't forget to share and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.